What's up, everybody?
What is going on, Godcast? How y'all doing?
Happy Tuesday. Today is the day of what, Tiago?
Theology Tuesday coming at you, hosted by Gabe and Tiago.
Yes, Sirski.
Boom! Explosion. I'm just kidding. We don't have explosions.
But we should
guys.
get one.
We should
We
get
should
one.
get one.
We should go one.
We should get one.
How's your week so far, brother?
Bro, my week is going great.
That's good.
I'm having a very good week. We had a very, very, very amazing young adults
Yeah.
conference today.
Just now, we just came back from it.
Amazing. It was
Yeah, it
awesome.
was awesome.
I had so much fun. Felt the Lord's presence, which is the best way to start off your week because we had Sunday.
Yes.
Church was great.
It was.
We had some Holy Supper, which strengthened us for this week.
We did have Holy Supper.
Yeah. And then today we had a day full of worship and just feeling the Lord's presence, and it was amazing. Guys,
It was awesome.
Great.
It was awesome.
Yes, sir. So our topic for today, Tiago?
Topic for Theology Tuesday today, guys. This actually came from a comment from my sister. Shout out my sister and my brother-in-law Eves.
Shout out Emily and Eves.
Yes. They asked about like science in the Bible.
Yeah.
So the topic today, does science support the Bible?
Does it?
Let's find out.
Ha.
And as always, we're going to be using the Apologetic Study Bible to help us answer this question with an article by our man Walter L. Bradley.
Bradley?
Bradley. All right, guys. Let's jump straight into it, okay? So let's I'm gonna read the introduction here for you guys about this topic of does science support the Bible, all right? And we're gonna jump straight into that, answer that question for you guys today, and it's gonna be awesome. I feel like this is another important question, you know.
Yeah, very
it's
important.
It's something that a lot of people question, you know. Oh, but science and the Bible, they don't mix. All right, real quick before we go, does this sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, cool. All right, guys, introduction to the science support the Bible. So here we go. Two major areas of scientific inquiry can, in principle, either support or undermine the Bible. Namely, what science tells us about the nature of our universe and planet, and what it can tell us about the history of our universe and planet. Biblical theism describes a God who is immediately responsible for all physical reality, with the laws of nature seen as descriptions of God's customary way of caring for his creatures. And we get an example here in the Bible of Colossians 1:17. You want to read that for us, bro? What that says?
Sure. Colossians 1:17 says, "And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together."
Yes, sir. So pretty self-explanatory there. Going on here, biblical theism also affirms that God sometimes works in extraordinary or supernatural ways to shape and care for his creation. Genesis 1:1, which just says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth."
Right.
The challenge is, can the biblical and scientific pictures of our universe and planet be harmonized? So let's dive into that and answer that question. First section we're gonna go into is Our Remarkable Home, and Gabe will take that away for us.
Yeah, for sure. All right. One of the most surprising scientific developments of the 20th and early 20th century has been the discovery of the many remarkable features in our universe and planet that are essential to make it such an ideal habitat for life. First, we need a sufficient diversity of elements combined with a relative abundance of certain critical elements to make it possible the production of complex molecular machines capable of processing energy, storing information, and replicating molecules such as RNA, DNA, and protein. Second, at least one element in this complexity of life must be capable of serving as a ready connector, reacting with essentially all elements to form bonds that are stable but not too stable to be broken during reuse. Carbon is such an element. Third, we must have an individual element or compound that is liquid at certain temperatures on planet Earth and very abundant, and that can serve as a universal solvent. This liquid must be capable of dissolving most elements and or compounds essential for the chemistry of life. That describes water. Fourth, we need long-term sources of energy that fit with the chemical energy of the carbon bonds so that energy can fuel chemical reactions. We find that in the carbon-based chain molecules that are essential to life. At least 50 such requirements have been identified, all necessary for life to exist in our universe.
Yeah. So basically, that's just explaining the complexity of our world, right? Our home
Right.
today. Science says that nothing came from something, right? Which in itself already contradicts a law. Yeah. So that's just explaining the complexity of our home,
Yeah.
right? Planet Earth, and how things literally have to be like
Perfect.
for it to work,
Yeah.
right? And how science today tells us that the world came from nothing, basically, right? The Big Bang theory. And
That's a great topic too because I actually had a conversation with Allison about that. To where there are certain people that believe in the Big Bang theory, but it's like there has to be a God behind everything, right?
yeah,
So when God said, "Let there be light," that could have been the Big Bang theory, and I actually thought that was very interesting. I was like, "Hmm,
so my view of it, right, is Genesis tells us the beginning,
right,
right? So in Genesis, I don't really see somewhere where it says like something exploded and life came to be,
mm-hmm.
right? Genesis teaches us that God spoke everything to life,
Okay,
right? So he spoke, let there be light, and a light appeared. He spoke, let there be land from the deep, and
okay,
land appeared. And he spoke, and things came to be. Um, but in terms of that, it is a good conversation. The Big Bang theory. That's what most people believe our Earth, our world came from today. And to me, it's like, bro, look at the complexity of Earth. Like how
yeah,
complex everything is,
mm-hmm.
how complex we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can you support that with it just coming from nothing? How can there not be a creator behind it? How can there not
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
an engineer or an architect behind all of that?
yeah." And I'm just gonna be very clear with you guys. I'm going to be asking Tiago questions that I get a lot. So whatever I ask Tiago today is just so we can get a little bit deep into it. All right, guys.
Yeah. But the Big Bang Theory question, that one I've actually heard that before from
Yeah.
other people. Like, oh, what if the Big Bang Theory, was God doing his thing? But the thing is, the scientifical Big Bang Theory is basically teaching that there is no God.
Right.
So I can't
Okay.
to me, as someone who follows the Bible like strictly,
Uh huh.
I can't mix the two together.
Right. So kind of like it was based off of an atheist,
Yeah,
scientific
yeah,
way
it
of
is.
ideology.
Yeah.
So we don't want to. Okay, I can see
So,
that.
like, the idea of Big Bang is to y- take credit out of Genesis and the
Uh huh.
creation of God,
Okay.
right? So I understand where some people are like, "Oh, let's mix science and the Bible
Mm-hmm.
together," which they can be mixed together if
Yeah.
you believe that there is an architect behind everything and all these complexities that we just read about, right? It makes more sense when there is an architect behind
And
everything
honestly,
and a creator.
I truly do believe that science is in the Bible.
Yeah,
Because, bro, science is basically everything that compones our body, right? Like it says here RNA, DNA, protein,
yeah,
all of our compounds. That's science,
mm-hmm.
right? So God uses that science to produce us, like He used the dirt to form Adam,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, yes, God did do that. God, all that science goes into it,
Yeah.
but it's biblical science. It's
Yeah,
not that
the
atheist
difference
science.
the difference between science that supports the Bible is we see a creator behind everything,
Right.
and science of atheism or agnosticism. I don't know if that's the right word, but the science of people that don't really believe in a creator or God
Right.
is just kind of like, oh, so we just came from nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. It doesn't make too much sense for me how a perfect world that we live in today, like our bodies, the way it works, literally perfectly to the last molecule,
Right.
doesn't make sense that it just came from evolution and from nothing.
Exactly.
So next, we're gonna dive into God's remarkable design. All right, and I'm gonna take it away from that. So God has satisfied the many requirements for life in three remarkable ways. the elegant mathematical form is encoded in nature and that we call the laws of nature, the fine tuning of the 19 universal constants, example, the speed of light, the gravity force constant, the mass of the electron and the unit charge, and the unbelievably demanding initial conditions that God had set. For example, the ratio of the strong force constant of the electromagnetic force constant must fall within a window of 5% of the actual ratio. If we are to have elemental diversity and a star like our sun that gives a long term stable source of energy, too much to match that energy, to match the energy of the light from the sun to the chemical bonding energy in organic compounds, 6 of the universal constants have to be carefully tailored to each other. The speed of light, the mass of the electron, the mass of the proton, Planck's constant, the gravity force constant, and the unit charge must have carefully matched magnitudes that satisfy the following algebraic equation, which I'm not even going to try to say the algebraic equation, but basically explaining how all these things have to match perfectly together, right? For things to be in harmony. Remarkably, these 6 constants do have exactly the right relative values of the energy from the sun to be matched precisely to that needed to facilitate critical chemical reactions in organic molecules. Many scientists have remarked with admiration about this amazing characteristic of our universe. For example, the famous English astronomer Sir Fred Hoyle commented, "A common sense interpretation of the fact suggests that a super intellect has monkeyed with the physics as well as the chemistry and biology, and there are no blind forces worth speaking about in nature." Possibly the most impressive scientific achievement of the 20th century was the discovery of DNA, upon which is encoded the information of life. That such a remarkable information storage system exists, and that the DNA molecules have somehow come to be encoded with the precise information needed for life, is the climax to an amazing testimony from science of God's providential care for us in His creation. Right, so that's just diving deep into DNA and how literally perfect DNA is, right? And how God was so careful with every single little detail that came to us, not only us, but also our earth, you know? For example, for the accidental origin of the cytochrome C molecule to have the required sequencing of the various amino acids has a possibility of 1 and 10 to the 60th power, which I don't even know how much that is. But basically just saying how it's pretty much impossible for that specific chromosome, the cytochrome C, or that specific molecule, sorry, to be an accident, right? To be able to match with the amino acids of our body. These findings from recent science give even more profound significance to Paul's testimony in Romans 1:20, which I believe I have here. Yeah, and I'll read that soon. But that God's divinity can be seen even in the invisible elements of His universe. So Romans 1:20 says this, guys: for His invisible attributes, namely His eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world and the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. And that verse right there, Paul is basically talking about how, like even nature, the world, right, us, creation, speak out that there is a God. So people that don't believe in God are without excuse, basically, because the trees, the grass, our own bodies are literally crying out, right? The creation cries out that there is a God, that there is a creator. But yeah, I mean, that right there, it just kind of sums it up, man. Everything is just so perfectly like aligned. It shows the care that God had with the creating of our world. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, wouldn't you rather believe like there is a creator in this universe and He created things so perfectly for us? He took such good care of it. Then they're just random pieces of dust floating in the universe forever.
Honestly, bro, it's such a complicated topic, and we can go on for hours and hours about it, as I do at work, almost like all the time with my boss
Mhm.
and with like coworkers and even some people that come on in. If we start, bro, we won't ever finish,
Yeah.
and it's just one thing that it's like the world is so complex, right? The universe is so complex. There's so many things that come into play when you want to really dive into science and compare it to the Bible and try to even have a debate against what science says, what the Bible says, what this, what this, what this. So many ways you can mix the two, intertwine the two. So many ways that you can split them up. It's just hours of long
Yeah.
conversations. So
Yeah, I know.
honestly, bro.
To me, it's like I understand that it's complex and many topics or many things can be brought up, but I can't wrap my head around the fact that we're just a random factor in the
Yeah.
universe, right?
There,
We're
honestly, I think
just
there's no way, bro.
everything is just randomly happened from the huge explosion, a random huge explosion that all of these things that we just read about perfectly into place, right?
Bro,
And
have you ever seen a DNA strand?
yeah, like
Bro,
it's
how
like it
does that
literally
even make
says here,
sense,
like
bro?
one of the biggest discoveries in the 20th century was the DNA molecules. Like everything, every little amino acid or whatever makes up the DNA just perfectly into place. It's basically the code of our body.
Bro,
Universe has a code as well. Like what?
to be either a man or a woman, the chromosomes that go into it.
Yeah,
Either you have the X or the Y or the XX or
yeah,
whatever. Like, bro, how does like one thing, one tiny, tiny little thing that mixes in the sperm and in the egg, just like, bloop,
yeah.
it's like,
Exactly,
it just decides, like,
bro.
bro,
The
it's
care
impossible. It's
the care
impossible.
guys that God takes and took for the creation of the world and creation of each one of us is very precise.
Yeah.
It's very precise. It doesn't make sense to me that there can be no God, there can be no creator. You know, science itself proves that. Science proves that there is a creator, bro. Everything as we've been talking about here, is so precise, so like perfect. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make sense that it can be randomized.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that we came from a fish and then evolved to a monkey,
Right.
and then we're at like what?
See,
You know,
I don't. If we go into that evolution thing, like I'm
we'll
just
leave that
start
for another
going
day.
crazy because, bro, like, how does?
We'll leave that for another
We'll leave
day.
that for another day. But I'll say this though:
I'd rather like to believe that
do
we
we
came from dust,
do
from the
we
dirt,
do
than from
we
a monkey.
like um is evolution a thing? Yes, but like for example, let's say in human nature, right? We change over time.
Yeah,
For
but we're
example,
gonna dive into
yeah,
that here.
right,
That's like adapting, though.
yeah.
That's not evolving. You know.
To an extent, though, I say that just because you're over the years you evolve in a certain way. Like for example, we were talking about this at work. The people who live in Guatemala in the mountains, right? They become shorter. Why? Because of the pressure and that altitude. So the people tend to be shorter, and throughout generation, you evolve in a way that you can survive best in that land that you are in, which is adapting, right?
Yeah.
Like we adapt to
Let's
wherever we
let's
live as
dive
well.
deep into this next part here,
Yeah.
and you're gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how it explains that as well.
Word, word, word.
So, but just to give you like an answer to that, basically, what's the law of the universe? Survival of the fittest,
Right.
right? So, things we humans, our bodies, guys. If you guys like notice, our bodies adapt so quick to fit to best fit the environment that we're living in.
Look at where we are now, bro. We're used to 20-degree weather
Yeah.
in Boston, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
It was 60 today, and I was freezing my booty off.
Yeah. Yeah. So with this next section, can we harmonize Genesis 1 and science? So while the scientific discoveries of the 20th and 21st centuries have strengthened belief in a designer slash creator, highly publicized conflicts between science and the Bible, such as the Scopes monkey trial, have eroded confidence in the biblical inferences about natural history found in Genesis 1 and 2. This conflict is the result of unsubstantiated scientific claims and unnecessarily limited interpretations of Genesis 1 and 2, whether they be of the liberal or conservative variety. The unsupported claim from science is that the origin of life and its progression from simple to complex forms are achieved by molecular selection and mutation. Right. So this is evolution. Is that is like mutating, right? Slash natural selection, respectively. While the synthesis of mutation slash natural selection adequately explains how organisms become more adapted to their environment and how incremental improvement in existing characteristics might occur, it seems incapable of explaining the origin of multi compound systems, such as the human eye. New multi compound systems would have no advantage from natural selection until the individual parts had already evolved to an advanced stage of development. Yet, without natural selection to guide this development, it is almost impossible to imagine how complex and multi component systems can originate. Biochemist Michael Behe has dubbed this process Darwin's black box, a whimsical term for a device that does something but whose inner working cannot be seen and sometimes are not comprehensible. So you kind of understand that?
I got
Basically, um science tells us, right, that through natural selection and mutations and evolving is how we've come to be where we're at today,
that.
right? But to best adapt to our environment today, right? But then that same thing contradicts itself because it doesn't explain things like the human eye, right? And how complex our eye is. Like if you really
it's a multi-component.
yeah, if you really look
Part of
into
your body.
how the human eye works and the multi-component of the eye, you'll start to question a lot of things, you know. But yeah, to dive more deep into that, basically is that, bro. Yeah. So people, like, for example, people that live in Africa have darker tone in their skin. They have
Yeah.
more melatonin,
Yes.
right? Because they're exposed more to the sun.
Right.
They're exposed more to the sun. People in Europe have less melatonin in their skin. They're exposed less to the sun
Right.
up there. So it's all things. It's all about the environment that you live on. And we as humans, we adapt. We
Yeah.
adapt to the environment that we live on to best suit it to survive, right? Because it's all about survival at the end of the day. And that's how you explain those things of like different cultures of the world and how different races and stuff have different things. Like you said, the people from Guatemala living in the mountains, and because of the pressure of the air, they have adapted to best suit that environment and gotten smaller
Right.
over the years.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
It's awesome though.
yeah.
Bro, it's amazing how the human body works.
Dude, it's crazy because like the best way to test it is get out of your comfort zone and start doing something new.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, when you go to work out, if you work out a lot, at first the weight is heavy, right?
Mhm.
But eventually it starts getting lighter.
Yeah.
Why? Because our body is adapting. Our
Adapting,
body's
getting
going through the
stronger.
process of getting stronger and building more muscle, right? So then when you go to lift the same weight, it's not as heavy as last week
Right.
or 2 weeks ago. And you're able to get stronger and lift more weight over time.
Getting huge, getting yoked.
Yep.
And
That's
if you want to hack.
that's my analogy of it because, you know, we go to the gym and that's how I can explain
Yeah.
it. Like our body's
Gym is
adapting.
love. Gym is life. That's
Yeah.
funny. Jesus is love. Jesus is life.
Anything else you want to add to that, brother?
Bro, no.
Any
I think-
questions? Because I know you said you're going to ask me some questions.
Yeah. I'll ask you some questions. So, we were talking about the Big Bang. We hit that off pretty spot on. Talking about DNA. Talked about evolution. Which is one thing as well. It's like, bro, if we came from monkeys, right? How come monkeys still don't turn into humans?
Exactly. Right. Some people just they'll call that natural selection. Oh, only certain of the monkeys, of the chimpanzees, evolved, you know, to be smarter and more intellect beings of humans.
Right.
Which
And
is like,
why are humans the how do you say it? The
superior.
superior, right? Like,
So in biblical form, humans are, let's go scientifically first. Scientifical form, humans are superior because of our intelligence, right? Because we're more intelligent than other animal beings.
so are dolphins.
Yeah, I know. For example, we came up with weapons and stuff, and because we have thumbs, right? So we came up with weapons, and we were able to like develop all those things, so we're more superior to the rest of the basically world, right? The earth, like the other species and things like that. Biblically, God gave man, the first man, Adam, the authority, right? In Genesis, he gave him authority over all living creatures of the air, of the land, of the sea, to rule over all of them. So much so that Adam named every single animal
Right.
that we see today, right? And he gave us authority over the land and over everything. God gave us the authority. That's why we're superior, right? But yeah, that's the difference between that.
That's why I'm just like, dude, you don't believe in God. You just believe that humans were naturally selected to
Yeah.
be superior.
Yeah.
Bro, if you think about it, apes are way stronger than humans.
Mm-hmm.
The way of communicating between whales, which is and other fish, which
Dolphins.
is that
Dolphins are the smartest animals, bro.
like the whole thing that they talk with
Echolocation,
sound,
bro.
echolocation. Bro, they're so much smarter than us.
Yeah.
Why not them?
Yeah.
Right? Why not lions? Which
Science.
could literally destroy you
Yeah.
if you get face to face, hand to hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, bro. Like, I'm so sorry to tell you, but if you don't believe that there's an eternal God, Almighty, taking care of everything, making every single choice, to me, it's just like, then what's the point of life?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And
What's the point?
that's the problem with a lot of people. Why a lot of people struggle to come to God, especially atheists, right? They don't have a purpose to life. You ask an atheist, "What's your purpose of life?" It's like it sounds so depressing, or they won't even answer, right? But we people that believe in God, that know that there's a creator, our purpose to life, Jesus told us there's two purposes to life, right? One is to love your Lord your God with all your heart and all your strength, and the second is to love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah. I can't wait
That's
to
the
have
same.
somebody on so we can have these talks with them as well, see their
Yeah.
point of views, because I love talking about it. I love learning,
Yeah,
and so it's gonna be really great for us and great for them as well.
yeah. And guys, it might seem like I'm smart. I'm not. I never went to college. I'm a nerd, right? When it comes to the Bible, I research a lot of this stuff, and I use this as a main source. So this book right here, we don't get nothing from it. If you guys haven't picked up one yourself, we'll leave-
Apologetics.
we'll leave a
sponsor
link
us,
again.
bro.
Right? You guys can go pick one up on Amazon if you want to get all these answers to your questions, right? Last week is the Bible reliable? This week was the science support the Bible, which I think
Yeah.
we answered pretty great.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just gonna give an example here of another one. Just pick a random one. Does the Bible contain errors? That's another good one we can dive deep into.
Yeah, for sure.
But guys, great book. Helped me a lot in learning a lot of things. Apologetics is amazing. You'll learn how to defend, right, your faith in Christ. Doesn't have to be like your answer to every question is we walk blindly in faith. No, there's logical answers to the Bible.
Yeah.
There's logical answers to everything.
And don't just take our words for it.
Yeah.
You guys should really dive into it
Yeah,
as well. It's
exactly.
something that I've been noticing a lot is just because you hear it doesn't mean it's 100% true.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're somebody like that, like me, that it's like I can't just hear. I gotta see for myself. Dive in.
Yeah.
Read this book.
Go read it for yourself.
Research. Read the Bible. See how it compares. See how everything goes, and you make up that decision for yourself. You speak to God, and you figure out the truth. Right? Don't just take our words for it. We're here to help you. We're here to guide you. We're here to bring some light, bring some information, but do some research on your own as well to find out, dive deep, ask us questions, text us.
Yes. Let us know in the comments what you guys want to answer next. And yeah, guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Go look at all our socials, TikTok, Instagram, all of that. It's all at the Godcast. Should be at the Godcast. You guys should find us there.
It's all on the link below as well.
Yeah,
so.
we'll leave a link below on everything. Share this video, turn on notifications, and that's a wrap.
We'll see you guys later. Have a blessed week.
Peace out, guys. God bless you guys.
Yes, I'm